Yes, welcome to Libertarians Drinking Coffee Live. It is 3 p.m. on the East Coast. So happy that you have given me a chunk of your day. And I'm happy that today I have with me, I think, someone very special for many reasons. But for this one special reason, this is the third time he's on Libertarians Drinking Coffee Live. Now, why would I bring someone on 3 times? Oh, my God. Well, because my friend here is running for the 5th time. Yes. The man himself now running for mayor in his home state of Indiana. The man himself, Tommy Brown III. How are you, sir?
Doing good, Larry. You?
I'm doing awesome. And if you want to follow Tommy, you can head on over to a Facebook. He's got a Facebook group there waiting for you to step in and check out what he's doing. Tommy Brown III for mayor 1776. And if you are listening to this, it's Tommy, Tommy Brown, 3 sticks for the third, for FOR, Mayor 1776. So I got to ask you, Tom, this is the 5th time you run. I know you care desperately about your local community. You've run in Indiana more than once. You've run for county commissioner. Now you're running for mayor. You've run for all different things in Indiana. Why this run?
Well, Larry, simply put, this would be the end of the 5 big races within this county. 2007, I've ran for sheriff. I've ran for city council. I've ran for county council. I've ran for commissioner. Now it's time to swing the bat again and go for mayor.
I like that. So you've got them all. So the thing that I like about this is you've decided to stay local, which I love the idea, right? The idea that people now know who you are in your area. They've heard of you. They've seen you. They know, and they can call you. And you've told me you've actually gone to, actual events in your county, and people go, oh, yeah, that's you. I know you, right? They know who you are. You've established yourself as a libertarian presence in your local community, and I love that. So now it's mayor. So let me ask you, is this a race where people around you are like, yay, Tommy, go? Or like, oh, I don't know, Tommy. What do you think the community is thinking about your race now?
Believe it or not, we've had a really good community response. There's been some things go on that has really, I don't want to use the word tainted, but has really put our current mayor in somewhat of a bad light. And, this really wasn't supposed to happen yet. This was kind of a deal where, some things happen. I'll get into that in a minute. That, I talked it over with my wife. I talked it over with a couple other people, and they're like, you know what, let's do it. So here we are, and we're ready to go. We're excited. It's going to be fun.
I'm glad to hear that, because I know you have been very forward in kind of showing the people what's actually going on behind the scenes, and the people are happy about it. But I know some of the establishment, excuse me, has not been. I've seen the stuff you've done at events. I've seen the stuff you've done out into the community. You've posted some of it online. I've watched it. Again, if you guys want to follow him, head over to his Facebook group. It's right then at Tommy Brown III for Mayor 1776. And you can see some of the stuff that he's doing. But I guess, what's the difference between last race, which was also contentious for you, and this race?
Oh boy, Larry, that's a great question. I would have to say with this one, there's not the pressure, if that's even the right word. There's not the pressure with this race. What's interesting about this one is our current mayor and myself, we went to school together. Wow. Justin was a year behind me in school. So, we know each other. We've been friends for a long time. And like I said, this one doesn't have the pressure behind it. There is things that are going to come out, and I'm going to bring some of those out here today, but it's not. The last race is what I would term aggressive for me.
Okay.
I went after things awful hard at last time. And this one's kind of just more, let's face the problems, let's deal with them, and we'll move on.
There we go. Well, Isaac is on your side. Isaac says, we need more libertarians running locally, especially for mayor. Great opportunity. I agree, Isaac, and I'm going to go further. Tommy, I'm happy that you're not just deciding randomly one day to run, that you've been part of your community and you know the people around. This is really a community race. I love that idea. But to be forward, you have pushed on two issues. And one of them was before most.
Mm-hmm.
And now, but let me kind of be clear this. A lot of people have talked about finance, as you talk about. A lot have talked about cybersecurity, you talk about. But they haven't done what you've done, which is you've talked about it from a local level, which almost no one does. Like we talk about finance, it's the $1 trillion of debt, or security. Oh, they're going to attack our grid across the country and they're going to invade. You talk about things like my local finance has to be squared away or we're in trouble. Like you discuss like bond issues, things that matter to your local community. And you talk about cybersecurity, like you've talked about things like what happens when they take your local hospital hostage with your information, and your hospital has to pay a bunch of money, doesn't tell you. What happens when ransomware hits your local school district? And this is stuff that just, I mean, you're really ahead of the curve here. Is that still the types of things that you're running on now, or has that changed for you?
Those two are at the top. My team and I have really streamlined things this time around. We've got 4 main topics.
Okay.
I tagged them the 4 horsemen of the campaign for mayor.
Okay.
The debt and the cybersecurity, of course, are 2 biggies.
Yep.
We are also going after economic growth, and we're going after infrastructure. Now, the cybersecurity also will tie into public safety, because I believe cybersecurity, it automatically protects your public, but those two kind of intertwine with each other, and we can kind of gravitate either way on that, depending on what happens.
So take me, if you would, take me first to the debt, because I think that's a critical one. Tell me about economics and the debt in that one.
Okay. So currently, if you go to the state of Indiana government finance website, it shows the community of Salem roughly $26 million in the hole. Well, that's actually not true.
How many people in your county?
The county's 28,000, but the city alone is only 6,100.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Now, before we go any further, let me state that most of that 26 million was what I would refer to as a major infrastructure investment, because our city built a brand new water treatment plant that is good for like 70 years. Okay. So it's a massive infrastructure investment. It was the way they done it that racked up $26 million of debt.
Got it.
Just 2 months ago, they decided to take a bond loan that was a multi-million-dollar 5-year deal. I went to that city council meeting. I advised Mayor Green to not do it. You know, we're looking at pending inflation in 2023.
Yep.
Every economic expert you talk to agrees with me that it's a bad time to take on new debt. That conversation actually goes a lot deeper than just what I've skimmed the surface of, Larry. So it's roughly about 28 million in the hole if you count the bond loan. Mm-hmm. And if you divide it out, that's $4,521 and change per person in the city of Salem to zero it.
Got it. Okay. So now we're in debt already in this case for the water treatment plant, which maybe that was a good deal. It sounds like it's expensive, but whatever, it is what it is. I'm sure there is more infrastructure required in your county and city to keep things moving, right? So where's the rest of the infrastructure money supposed to come from?
Okay, so we got lucky.
Oh, good.
There,
Okay.
the state of Indiana is doing a massive revitalization of the main highway that goes east to west through town.
Okay.
That includes all of the water supply lines are getting brand new through that section.
Okay.
Our President Biden, when he signed the American Renew project, Salem was able to get enough money this year that they were actually able to replace. They're working on it now, so we've got 2 construction projects going same time here. They're replacing all of the water supply lines north-south. So all of those are going to be replaced. When that water plant was first built, I went to Mayor Green. I told him, I was like, look, you've got 5 to 7 years of doing nothing but chasing bugs. Water line leaks, because our underground infrastructure is 50 to 60 years old.
Right.
And it's full of patches. It has to be replaced. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It has to be done.
Right.
Now with what they're doing with these 2 projects, I'm going to say they probably cut the gap down now to probably 2 to 3 years. But, like you said, there's other things that we need to be looking at.
Yep.
Praise God that, the previous mayor was forward thinking enough. Our wastewater treatment plant is good for probably 25 or 30 years before we have to do another massive upgrade.
So then let me move to this next piece then, right? If now you've got this debt, you've got some good infrastructure going when it comes to your water, which is nice. Some of it's coming from Uncle Joe's writing checks to everybody. You're getting your cut of Uncle Joe's checks. I got it. It's all good. We'll pay for that, I guess, later, whenever we pay for that. But anyway, that's fine. For now, it's good, I guess. How does that move into economic growth, right? Generally, when people think of economic growth, the first thing I think of is, well, it's going to be some government program to get businesses on track, or to support women-owned businesses, or something like that. What are you talking about when it comes to economic growth?
Well, let me back you up just a minute.
Okay.
You actually stated something wrong, and I need to correct you.
Okay.
Government never produces jobs. It never has. It never will. They fail when they try to get involved with the job market. They fail drastically. We have what is known here in this county as the Washington County Economic Growth Partnership.
Uh-oh, that sounds terrible.
It is. It's horrible.
Yes.
Our mayor sits at the top of it. If they would put as much effort and time into creating more red tape, or if they would spend as much time as they do creating red tape and put that energy toward bringing jobs in, we'd be fine.
Right. Right.
But unfortunately, they're not geared that way because, for some odd reason around here, they don't like competition. And I was raised, competition makes you better.
Right.
It raises your skill level. As far as I'm concerned, I can't really worry about that because, again, that's a county thing. If I do happen to win, yes, I will I will head that up. But, Larry, from my view, there's some things about that organization that needs to change.
Okay.
I don't want to get into it right now because we don't have time. But
right. But is this actually, you sit on top of it as mayor? Are you hamstrung by a governor that comes in, or do you have a bit more flexibility as a mayor?
I would have a lot of flexibility. The problem is we have very influential businessmen in Salem that would probably not agree with my stance.
Got it. Okay.
Several years ago, the city of Salem acquired some land here within the city, and they put in an industrial park. Okay, great. There's one business in it. One. So, my take on this is, okay, that's fine. Let's divide this up democratically. I would want to revert things back to the way it was in the 80s when your Chamber of Commerce was bringing in businesses.
Yes.
Yes. I'm also I'm a big supporter of home-based business.
Yes.
People think to have job growth that there needs to be all these new buildings pop up. No, it don't.
It's true.
If you want to start a home-based business, I'm all for it. You're going to pay your taxes just like any other business down the road would, except you're working from home. I'm all for it. Now,
so you're more like supporting almost like the gig economy, supporting local small businesses, supporting home-based businesses, and more entrepreneurship.
Actually, I'm supporting both. I have no problem with new business coming in. Have no problem with that at all. The problem we're having is with the current economy, and I just found out just a little bit ago, the Fed raised the interest rates again. We've had another Fed hike. That doesn't bode well for people wanting to start a business, especially if you're going to try to open it in an existing building or build new. It doesn't bode well for you. According to the internet, I don't know how right this is, but Salem has a growth percentage of 9.4. I don't see how. I really don't. Unless they are factoring in the infrastructure projects with this.
Oh, okay.
Then, yeah, I might agree with that. But if it's just jobs,
yeah, the problem that I see with that one, Tommy, already is if they do put in infrastructure jobs, which that makes sense for them to do, right? For them to do it, it makes total sense. But that's a temporary job. That's not actual growth. Right?
No,
that's an influx of federal money that will go away. That's not actual growth.
You're exactly right, Larry. Now let me dive into something here real quick. So this bond loan that the city took out, this stems back to 2018 when I ran for county council. Back then, we were in the process of building a new jail. They had the county taken a bond loan. Our current mayor literally signed over the LIT credits, which stands for local income tax credits.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, here in Indiana, we have this beautiful constitutionally written thing. It's called circuit breaker.
Okay.
Now, if you're smart, you keep your local income tax credits, and it helps to buffer that circuit breaker percentage. It brings it down.
Ah, got it.
When he signed those away in 2018, the word was, oh, and I quote, "This won't affect us. That's in the future." It's 2023. I do believe the future is here unless I live in a parallel dimension.
I'm with you on this one. I think you're right, Tom.
So, and then they sit in council meetings and go, well, we just can't figure out why Salem and Washington County is the hardest hit county in the state of Indiana for circuit breaker. Simple. You gave away your LIT credits.
Right.
You told the county to take them.
Got it.
You can't defeat something if you don't have a buffer for it.
It's funny you say that because I talk about the same thing, right? How do you buffer inflation? You buffer by having more people working, more people producing goods and services, more stuff out there to buy. That's how you buffer yourself. I think you're totally right. Dave is on your side, by the way. Dave says, well, Demopublicans keep saying that Libertarians should run local races. They do, and we are 100%. That's exactly what's happening. Dave is correct.
But to his point, here in Indiana, we have this nasty little thing. It's called straight ticket voting.
Yes. Oh my God, I hate that.
And see, that's a big reason why I got hammered as bad as I did, because people in this county and in the city, they decided, well, we're going to vote straight ticket Republican and send a message to Joe Biden.
Yes.
I really don't think that President Biden cares how they vote here in Washington County.
I think you're right. I don't think he got the message. I don't think he did at all.
No,
you're totally right.
I don't think that telegram was sent.
I don't think it was. Yes. That was more stories that the left-right paradigm tells everybody. I completely agree. Yes.
There you go.
So let me move to the fourth piece, which has always been the most intriguing part that I like of your platform. It's the local cybersecurity part, right? That's to me is always the most intriguing. I get the debt is probably the most important of that. I think it's probably the most important. But the sexiest to me, maybe that's the one, is the cybersecurity piece. And the most interesting because, again, when people talk about cybersecurity, it's almost always like, well, whatever, the Russians are going to hack the election or something like that. It's always some big conspiracy thing. But you're talking about what everyday people have to work on and deal with in their lives, in their counties, in their cities, that there's a real chance that someone might hijack the information at a local hospital and have all your info, and the hospital now has to pay the ransom to make sure your info comes back. And that people, even if it happens, people aren't saying it. Like they're literally lying if it happens, but you're saying, let's stop before it happens. Please walk down that road with me. Go ahead.
Okay. You have to understand, at a local level, most new, whether it be wastewater, whether it be regular water, everything's online. It doesn't have to be a nationwide hack to get things done. I know here just a couple days ago, I do believe it was T-Mobile had another data breach of, I think it was 4.5 million users. You know, Larry, your cell phone, I mean, let's look around. We are a cell phone driven society.
Yes, we are.
You know,
mine is literally right here. Yes, you're totally correct.
You know,
yes.
We are an internet driven society. Everything is on the internet.
Yep.
Those things have to be secure, and people need to know how to avoid what I would call being a high list target.
There's a high list target.
Yeah. If you are really lazy and blatant with your password, you're probably going to get hacked. But if you can have somebody in the mayor's office, and I don't like using the term bully pulpit because it sounds like you're horsewhipping people. If you have somebody in the office that A, understands the issue, but B, is able to educate you in a way that it's, you know, you're not bullying people into it. It's like, hey, look, this is for your good.
Right.
We need to do these things. And if you can get the people to kind of learn as you go, so to speak.
Right.
I feel like you have a better chance at getting business to follow that, because, you know, the people
customers will.
Right.
I'm with you. I love the idea.
You know, hopefully there will be groundswell there, and it'll kind of push forward. One of the big things that I wanted to do if I got elected commissioner was work with our local guard unit. National Guard unit here in Indiana, the state battalion just launched 2 years ago. They launched a cyber battalion. You know, I think it would be great.
You told me that. I remember that.
Yeah. Yep. I think it would be great to have that battalion come down here and work with us, and, you know, and walk through and be like, okay, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. And I'm learning every day, Larry.
No, I remember you've been talking about the new things that pop up. I see you put it. By the way, let me talk about this right now. If you want to see what Tommy's doing, you want to kind of be involved in this, head over to his Facebook group. It's Tommy Brown III for Mayor 1776. He's looking for people who will help him in social media, who will help share and like and help create some content for him. So if you're in that world, you want to help him out, you want to be the person who's going to share his stuff, to be the person who's going to do some liking and commenting and getting his name out there, head on over there and volunteer for him, right? Let him know, I want to volunteer. Let me help you out. Get the word out. He's happy to bring you aboard to volunteer all day long if you want to. Anyone listening out there who wants to help Tommy make some impact there in Salem, in Indiana, please go to his Facebook group and do that. What I like what you're saying, Tommy, is you're not saying I have to pass a bunch of new laws. What you're saying is I've got to be the guy who's out there talking about this so that everyone begins to change how they think, become more cybersecurity aware on their own, which will then change the businesses, individuals, and you're going to have a safer county, right? By default, you're going to have a safer city by default. And the funny part is, I live in New York City, the biggest city in the nation, right? The biggest city in our entire country. Nobody talks about cybersecurity. Nobody. I wonder how many times our local areas have been hacked. I wonder how many times we've dropped, $500,000 in ransom to some ransomware group. I mean, who knows? 10 times, 40 times? I have no idea, but I'm sure it's not zero. I'm sure it's not zero.
I'll guarantee it's not zero. If I remember correctly, the only guy in your area that was talking about it, other than you, was Yang.
Yes, correct. Yang was.
And he's like disappeared. I was fortunate enough in 2016 to be able to follow and watch John McAfee at a very close clip.
Yep.
I never will forget it. Him, Gary Johnson, and Austin Peterson was in the Libertarian debate with John Stossel. Right. And McAfee was straight up. He's like, we're in a cyber war now. It's not a new thing. It's happening now.
Right.
If you follow what is going on in Europe and Russia right now, the Ukrainians are getting bombed with cyber stuff.
Yep, absolutely.
Believe it or not, everybody thinks that it's China and Russia are the two big quote unquote cyber people. It's not who you got to worry about. It's the independent, or what I would call the rogues, that are out to cause. It's not so much money; it's more they're out to cause damage and interrupt things. That's where you really got to strive. I think the other thing that we have to do at the city level, excuse me, we have to educate our children. Our kids are our future. If they are not educated in how to be safe online, we're in trouble. Because, like I said, they're our future. And,
and they're born online now, Tommy. Right now, they're born online. I mean, they're online from when they're 2 years old now.
Oh, easy.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the biggest things that you'll ever hear me talk about is it's not so much passing laws and writing bills and this. You don't have to do that. It's education. I mean, look at me. I didn't know nothing about cybersecurity till 2016. And it's like, okay, I followed McAfee until his untimely death. Not a day goes by, Larry, I don't wish that guy was here because, I have questions that I don't know the answers to right now.
Sure.
That is probably.
But let me touch the piece that you brought up, which is more important, I think, than people get. We're so worried about whatever, like Russia or China attacking some massive thing, which is a concern. That is. But what happens when a Russia or China just throws a bunch of money at rogues and says, just do some damage? Or when rogues just want to make some money, or any combination, and they don't actively do a centrally coordinated attack, which we could probably handle a whole lot better. But to your point, it's 4,000 local attacks by 3,000 or 2,000 different rogue actors. How do you defend against that, right? And it creates chaos. And unless we, to your exact point, I guess I'm just reinforcing what you're saying, Tommy. Unless we at a local level can be those millions of small defenders, you can't defend against it, right? But you and I can, right? But there's no way the whole country has one whole stop 4,000 attacks. But individually we can. But more importantly, if the attack is decentralized, if the defense is decentralized, there's less damage. right?
Exactly.
If we have a centralized hub, they take that hub down, we're done.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're decentralized, they have to attack each of those other pieces. And I guess I'm reinforcing what you're saying. I just agree with it so much. I wish more people were saying it, but they're not. We keep talking about we need federal legislation. I'm like, no, we need local people to stop this. A static defense against an attack like this is a disaster. Crazy. Sorry, I guess I'm preaching to the choir here, Tommy.
No, Larry, you're absolutely right. You know, that's why I have been for a long time. I like the idea of blockchain. I always have,
yes.
ever since that came out. I really do. I like the idea of blockchain.
Mm-hmm.
So, that being said, why can't we create what we could call local chain, and everybody has a piece of the cyber security?
Yep.
Every citizen. That's 6,193 people that all have a key to the overall picture, and call it local chain.
I like it. Local chain. I love it. Sarah says, Libertarians working locally is our greatest opportunity for impact. Yes.
Amen.
Yes. Absolutely.
Amen.
Yes, absolutely. So let me ask you then, Tommy, do you feel like this one's going to have a lot of impact? And do you think the impact's going to hit more on the infrastructure side? People are going to get it? More on the debt side, finance are going to get it? Or more on the security side? What do you think the people of Salem are going to get more in this one? Where do you think they're more open to hearing?
Probably right now, with the economy the way that it is, and at the rate things are spiraling out of control in other places in the world. And yes, that has to be taken into consideration. You can't ignore it.
Of course.
I'm going to say probably they're going to lean more toward the economic side of it. I think that's probably going to be my strong suit. But
there we go.
You know, you just never know. It's nobody is really for sure just how bad this recession is going to be.
Right.
I was talking to a.
How long will it last?
Well, that's
how long will it last.
But see, Larry, we haven't really seen real inflation yet at what I would call the local level, because one big key factor is missing. China hasn't kicked in yet.
Oh, I see. Okay.
See, their economy is still booming. They've had no effect of inflation. When you add China into this, your local inflation is going to go through the roof.
Okay. Well, there we go. So let me ask you, Tommy, before we wrap this up, anything else we should be bringing up before we wrap this up?
What I will say to everybody that's listening is, if I can be strong enough to run 5 times from 2007 till now, there is absolutely no reason why every libertarian in this country cannot run for a local race.
There we go.
You know,
I love that.
If Larry and I can dig through the red tape that the two parties and the mega party throws at us, it's not hard, guys. It's really not. Call your local county clerk and be like, hey, I want to run for office. How do I do this? They will help you.
There we go. I love that. And guys, if you want to help Tommy move forward there in Salem, in Indiana, he's looking for volunteers. Head over to his Facebook page, Tommy Brown III for Mayor 1776. He needs people who want to like, comment, share, make new stuff, move his stuff around. He's moving heavily on social media. He needs help on social media. If you want to help him out and volunteer, head over there and connect. Guys, I want to say thank you so much for watching today. Tommy, thank you for giving me a half hour of your time. I appreciate it.
Not a problem, brother. Anytime.
Excellent. Guys, thank you so much. I will see you all tonight at 7 p.m. I will see you all very soon.